Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. How do you know someone is interested in you? Generally, it's when they take initiative, when they take a step to communicate with you. That's how my relationship with my wife began. I saw her, I was interested, and so I took the initiative to start communicating with her. So when we're interested, we take the initiative. And guess what? God took the initiative to speak to you, to speak to me, to speak to everybody in the world. It's not like man took the initiative and sent a letter to God or called God and said, God, can you start communicating with us? No, from day one, God has been communicating with us. The question is, how do we hear God's voice? And in fact, God desires to communicate with you and I so much that He wrote things down. He caused things to be written down in a book called the Bible, which is His word to us. Man didn't write it. God wrote it because He's interested in communicating with us. So how do we hear God's voice? Through His word. David in Psalm 19, verse 8 says this, "The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes." Now, when he says the word precepts and word commands, that's what we find in the Bible. It's God speaking to us. And guess what? God is speaking things to us that are right. God's way is the right way, the healthy way, the wholesome way. When you have children, you teach them a difference between right and wrong. It's natural to do that. And God teaches us that also. He doesn't leave it to us to guess what's the right way, what's the wrong way. He tells us very clearly because God desires what is right for us. His commands, His precepts are right, and they give us joy. When we do the right things, we experience joy. But Satan, who is our enemy, deceives us and helps us think that the things God says are not right. He's holding something back from you. These other things that God says are wrong, they are what you will get joy from. It's a lie. Because God's way is right and it leads to joy. If we don't follow God's way, it will lead to brokenness. And the commands of God bring joy. It's the opposite of what we think. We think of commands as restrictions. But no, it's a loving God who wants us to have joy. And joy comes from knowing and obeying God's word. His word will bring us, it will bring light to our eyes. Wouldn't you like to have light in your eyes instead of sadness and brokenness in your life? It comes from communicating with God. And God's written it all down in a book for you and I to read. So turn to God's word. It's what you need to find true joy. It's what I need to find true joy. And then our eyes will shine with light. So God bless you today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.